In the Quartermain foyer, after Drew demands Chase arrest Danny, Jason steps up to protect his son. Drew then demands that Jason also be arrested for obstruction of justice. Alexis argues that Danny is a minor, and there is no case here, as Scout asked her brother to bring her here. Drew again orders Chase to arrest Danny, who has gone into the living room, but Chase says there are no grounds, and he's not carrying out Drew's twisted vendetta. Chase goes to give Danny a warning, and Jason warns Drew never to come at him through his son again. In the living room, Chase talks to Danny as Jason joins and warns the boy that he lucked out. If something had happened while he was bringing Scout home on his bike, he could have gotten into serious trouble. In the foyer, Alexis tries to make Drew see he's taking this way too far. Drew argues that he is protecting his daughter because Danny has learned from his father that the rules don't apply to him, which makes him a danger to Scout. Drew says Sam would want him to protect Scout. Alexis says that since he invoked Sam's name, she would want her daughter with her brothers, not kept from her family, and certainly not relocated to DC. Drew somehow finds a way to sink even lower than possible, saying what Sam would or would not want doesn't matter as she's not here. Drew says his daughter needs to be kept from people who seek to undermine him, people like her. Well, now even more people have a motive to shoot Drew, so let's get this party started, writers. Marco walks into the hospital lounge just in time to see Willow slap Lucas across the face. Marco rushes to his side, and Willow flees out the door. Lucas explains to Marco what went down, and Marco offers to be a witness if he wants to go to HR. Lucas doesn't want to pile more on Willow and should have stayed out of it. Marco suddenly has an errand to run, but says he'll text Lucas later. Willow heads to the stairwell, and Liz follows, realizing something is wrong. Willow cries to Liz about losing it and slapping Lucas, which could cost her kids. Liz tells her this is assault and grounds for suspension or even termination. Willow thinks she should apologize to Lucas, but Liz tells her she needs to go home, and that's an order. She'll do what she can to smooth things over. Liz finds Lucas and says she sent Willow home and asks if he wants to file a report. Lucas doesn't, but feels that unless Willow makes changes in her life, she shouldn't be anywhere near her kids. Maxie brings James to the pool to meet Cody for a swim date and get him out of her hair as she has work to do. Sidwell approaches her and has heard the ladies at Deception are keeping quiet about the Sonny snafu. He thinks it's wise, but Maxie says she disagrees with the decision. Nearby, Rocco tells Gio that he and his mom are adopting Outback, so he can see her anytime he wants. Brooke Lynn arrives, and Gio and the enormous chip on his shoulder immediately asks what she's doing here. She explains she's only here to see Maxie, tells him to have a good day, and walks off. Brooke Lynn pulls Maxie away from Sidwell to talk business. Maxie still feels they made the wrong decision not going to the cops. Maxie tells Brooke Lynn she's a Quartermain, so deception failing isn't going to hurt her pockets, but it will ruin her life. Meanwhile, James and Cody meet Sidwell when their football heads his way. James recognizes Sidwell as the man who works with his mom. Sidwell says he also knows his grandpa Mac, the chief of detectives. James says his grandpa is a good guy and gives great advice, and his mom even talked to him last night about something really important. It's so obvious Sidwell is going to disappear Maxie. Later, Marco arrives to meet his dad, and Cody and James get back to the pool. Sidwell tells his son that James is charming and full of helpful information. Marco tells his dad he needs to play his card against Sonny regarding the bribed judge now, before it's too late. Back to Rocco, who tells Gio that things have been tense between him and his mom, and he thinks adopting Outback is his mom's way of trying to make things better. He wonders how things are with Gio and his mother. Gio tells Rocco that his issues with Brooke Lynn aren't just about the adoption, as she's done things to hurt people. Rocco says if he's speaking about the Brit issue, he thanked Brooke Lynn for helping him learn the truth. In the restaurant, Carly warns Obrecht that if she tells Rocco that Lulu had her kicked out, it will only hurt Rocco. Obrecht says keeping her from Rocco will only make him resent his mother. Nearby, Anna corners Brennan and asks if he has heard from Joss. He tells her that's none of her business, but assures her if something were wrong, he'd know. Obrecht calls Anna over, asks her to convince Carly that she's not a danger to Rocco. Anna suggests she make peace with Rocco's parents, as making things difficult for the boy is something Britt wouldn't want. Not sure about that, Anna. Obrecht says in the spirit of cooperation, she'll accept Carly's offer and take the room at the Cosmo, but she'll need the penthouse. Carly walks off, and Obrecht asks Anna about her intense conversation with Brennan. Colette Moreau, who is back from Peru, meets with Jack and tells him to extract the unqualified Joss from the mission immediately. Jack says this is his op, and she doesn't give him orders. Carly walks over and says hello to Colette, who quickly rushes off. Carly thinks she doesn't like her, but Jack says it's him that Colette is upset at. At the Five Poppies, Britt flirts with Vaughn as Joss watches from a distance. Pascal asks Mrs. Nash, aka Joss, if everything is okay, as she looks like she's seen a ghost. Joss explains that the woman over there is being handsy with her husband and asks what her name is. Pascal doesn't answer and says he'll handle the situation. Pascal interrupts Britt and Vaughn, saying it's time for Britt's massage appointment, which her friend booked. Vaughn tells Britt it was nice meeting her and he'll see her around. She gushes that, in fact, he will. Alone, Pascal warns Britt that she knows he does not want her to fraternize with guests and keep a low profile. Brooke yells, "Hello! I'm not Taylor Swift, and I'm in Croatia. Who will recognize me here?" He warns her to stay away from Vaughn/Mr. Nash. Britt reminds him that he is not the one in charge here and decides to go to the lab and demand some changes, starting with him. Back in the honeymoon suite, Joss scolds Vaughn for hitting on that woman, reminding him they're supposed to be in love. Vaughn says that the woman is a resident, and he was trying to get to know her for information. Joss says she knows her, and she's supposed to be dead. Joss informs him who Britt is, and if she sees her, then their cover will be blown and the assignment compromised. At the pool, Gio tells Rocco that he simply doesn't see him working things out with Brooklyn. Maxie tells Brooklyn that she has 3 kids to care for, so she can't risk losing deception or jail time over Sonny. Marco tells his dad that Willow is unraveling quickly, and if Michael gets permanent custody of those kids, his father will lose his leverage over Sonny. At the hospital, Liz tells Lucas she believes that without Drew around, Willow will be back to herself in no time. Lucas admits that if Michael didn't have custody of those kids, he'd have filed an HR complaint. At the Quartermain place, Jason tells his son that Drew wants to hurt him and isn't above using his son to do it, so be careful. Alexis suggests to Drew that they calm down before they both do something they regret. He says it's too late, and from now on, Scout will have no contact with her, Danny, or anyone else from her family. He storms out, perhaps having sealed his own fate and set Alexis down a dark path toward murder. At the Metro Court, Anna tells Obrecht that she and Brennan have a complicated history. Obrecht teases that, given that Brennan doesn't play by the rules, she thought that would make him her type. Brennan gets a text from V saying, "Loving the sunset here in Croatia." In their resort room, Joss fills Vaughn in about Britt and her parents, and that she's a brilliant doctor and scientist. Vaughn believes Britt is the key to the answers about Dalton's cold fusion project. Out on the patio, Britt finds Pascal and is furious that he's no longer in the lab. Pascal says he's left the resort. Britt stomps away, and Pascal takes a call from Colette, who warns him that Mr. and Mrs. Nash are USB agents. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, August 14th reveal that Sonny Corinthos will be willing to make a security sacrifice while Drew Kane insists on an ASAP move to DC. Willow Tate will also find a supporter in her time of need. So here's how things will play out on Thursday's show. First, Dante Falconeri will talk to Brooklyn Quartermain about Giovanni Gio Palmieri and hope they can nail down a strategy to reconnect with him. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos will give Gio some encouragement and perhaps remind him of Brooklyn's good qualities. It's true that Brooklyn has made some mistakes, but Michael may push Gio to see how much she loves him. At GH, Curtis Ashford will insist he has a very important invitation for his wife, so he'll romance Portia Robinson a bit on Thursday's episode and try to make progress on repairing their marriage. As for Stella Henry, she'll give Kai Taylor a pep talk and work to convince him that it's not too late to win Trina Robinson back. Next, Chase will give Willow some support in the aftermath of her latest round of drama with Lucas Jones. Whether Willow goes into the details or not, Chase will make it clear that he thinks she's a good person and still believes she'll get her kids back. It'll mean a lot to have Chase in her corner, so Willow will return the favor after he serves as a sympathetic ear. It looks like Chase will end up confiding in Willow about Drew wanting Danny Morgan arrested over the missing Scout Quartermain situation, so she may be appalled over the news. Although Drew didn't get his way thanks to Chase standing his ground, he still made a bold move by cutting Danny, Alexis Davis, and the rest of her family out of Scout's life. Molly Lansing Davis will get updates on Drew's decision and try to change his mind, but Drew will dig his heels in. In fact, Drew will think the best thing he can do is move with Scout to DC as soon as possible. Finally, Laura Collins will be surprised when Sonny offers to sacrifice his own security for her. Whether Laura's willing to allow that or not, it'll be a good reminder of Sonny's friendship and how much he cares. General Hospital spoilers say Sonny will spell out why he wants to protect Laura over himself, so stay tuned. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Britt Westbourne already knows Jason Morgan survived the tunnel collapse on Cassadine Island. Kelly Thiebaud confirmed the news in a recent interview with SOD. So here's how Britt found out and why Jason's survival won't come as a surprise. Once Thiebaud locked in her return stint, she wanted to know all the crucial Britt details. That's why Thiebaud connected with GH executive producer Frank Valentini and co-head writers Elizabeth Korda and Chris Van Etten about the story ahead of her start date. So we did a whole call, and they gave me like an update as to where this was all going and how Britt survived and everything, Thiebaud said. When Thiebaud found out Jason Morgan would be tracking her character down in Croatia, she expected Britt would get hit with a wave of emotions upon finding out he's alive. However, Korda told Thiebaud that Britt was already in the loop on Jason's return to the land of the living. As for how Britt knows, the answer isn't too surprising, since fans have witnessed her keeping up with Port Charles updates online. And Elizabeth was like, no, she's seen on social media that he didn't die. I was like, oh, okay. Britt's still plugged in on social media, Thiebaud said with a laugh. Britt was seen looking up info on the nurses' ball, and she's been checking out Liesl Obrecht's social media posts about Rocco Falconeri, too. At some point along the way, Britt also saw that Jason made a miraculous comeback of his own, so that part won't shock her when they come face to face. That said, Britt will still be stunned over Jason's arrival and the fact that he knows she's back from the grave as well. This is setting up a fun mess, so Kelly Thiebaud offered some hints about the complications ahead. There are a lot of feelings that it brings up. There are some angry moments, some soft moments. It's really complicated, Thiebaud confessed. General Hospital spoilers say Jason will want to know what's really going on when it comes to Britt's time at the Five Poppies Resort, so stay tuned. Jocelyn and Vaughn are supposed to be doing simple reconnaissance on General Hospital. They traveled to the Five Poppies Resort in Dalmatia, and Joss was shocked when she saw Vaughn talking to an apparently alive Britt Westbourne. The last time she saw the doctor was when Britt saved her life from the Hook serial killer in 2022. However, Britt seemingly died when the killer's poison-laced weapon scratched her. However, now that she's alive, Eden McCoy had some things to say about how Joss is going to respond to this shocking revelation. McCoy spoke to Soap Opera Digest about Britt's return from the dead. Joss and Vaughn are posing as newlyweds to infiltrate the resort and gather intel. But seeing Britt does make things more complicated, McCoy stated, adding that while the risk has increased, Jocelyn is pretty determined to get answers. Her orders from WSB Chief Brennan were not to engage and just surveil. But you know that Joss is going to go against orders. The actress remarked that the scenario is too big for Jocelyn to overlook and not take action on. But while Britt could blow Joss's cover, her presence could actually be a good thing. Because the two have a friendly history, McCoy feels that Joss could use that connection to help her and Vaughn's investigation. For McCoy, the reunion with Thiebaud was wonderful. Kelly is amazing, she gushed, further praising her castmate. She's such a badass, She's super talented, and working with her is really, really fun. She noted that the two often struggle to be serious, even on set, which can pose a challenge to completing their scenes. She found the situation highly interesting because several years had passed since they last worked together. As a result, both Joss and Britt are in different places in their lives, especially with Joss being a full-fledged spy now, and Britt's involved in the espionage going on. She happily remarked, "It's nice to have another female in the storyline that I'm so comfortable with, and for us to be doing similar things." Thus, Joss is going to defy her WSB orders and engage with Britt, hoping to find out what's really going on at the resort's secret lab. General Hospital spoilers reveal that there are at least 4 women on canvas who need new love interests. The show could use some fresh pairings to root for, so here are some female characters who deserve new romantic paths. For starters, let's talk about Nina Reeves and her current single status. Nina lost her relationship with Willow Tate, so now she's wallowing in loneliness without her daughter. Of course, Nina still has people like Ava Jerome and Liesl Obrecht to talk to, but it'd be nice if she had a special guy to lean on too. Some fans are holding out hope for a Nina and Sonny Corinthos reunion somewhere down the line, but it's also possible Nina will be paired up with someone else. Regardless, Nina could use some love and happiness again, so hopefully both are in her future. Trina Robinson was absolutely right to break up with Kai Taylor for his betrayal, especially since he's not really sorry about it. Kai put his loyalty to Drew Kane above his loyalty to Trina's family, so that's something that's going to be hard to come back from. Of course, Kai's going to try anyway, and will no doubt go for a grand gesture to win Trina back. Trina may cave in on a reunion sooner or later, but plenty of viewers are rooting for her to get another love interest now that Kai's proven he doesn't put her first. Should Trina get a new man, or perhaps a Spencer Cassadine recast to be paired up with next? Jocelyn Jax is clearly falling for Vaughn, but this pairing arguably feels forced and chemistry-less. Vaughn isn't in the right age bracket for Jocelyn and just doesn't have a good vibe with her at all. Perhaps when this WSB storyline is over, or at least enters the next phase without Vaughn, Jocelyn can find love with another hunk. It'd be easy enough to bring a handsome new guy to the canvas for Jocelyn, so maybe it'll happen down the road. Anna Devane is a strong, independent woman, but we'd still like to see her find love once more. Some fans wish Anna and Valentine Cassadine could have another chance at being together. Other viewers are seeing some potential sparks between Anna and Jack Brennan since there's a thin line between love and hate. It's not like Brennan and Carly Spencer's relationship is going to last, considering the secrets he's keeping regarding Jocelyn and her WSB gig. Anna and Brennan might be an option sooner or later. Even if Anna falls for someone else instead, it'd be nice to see her involved in a fresh love story at some point. General Hospital spoilers say these 4 women could make some updates to their love lives eventually, so stick with us for any romantic news that's on the horizon. General Hospital recap for Wednesday, August 13th reveals that Colette Moreau exposed Jocelyn Jax and Vaughn as WSB agents, while Drew Kane banned Alexis Davis and her family from Scout Quartermain. At GH, the show replayed Willow Tate slapping Lucas Jones, and Marco Rios was there to witness it this time around. Willow rushed out looking flustered and gave Elizabeth Baldwin updates in the stairwell soon after. Liz was alarmed over Willow assaulting her coworker, since it could be grounds for suspension or even termination. After Elizabeth sent Willow home, she tried to smooth things over with Lucas. Although Lucas agreed not to file a complaint with HR, he didn't think Willow deserved access to her kids unless she made a big change by the hearing date. At the pool, Giovanni Gio Palmieri was relieved over Rocco Falconeri's news about Lulu Spencer being willing to adopt Outback. Gio had a tense encounter with Brooklyn Quartermain before talking to Rocco about his issues with her. Rocco didn't want Gio holding what happened to him against Brooklyn since he was glad to know the truth about Britt Westbourne. In the Metro Court, Anna Devane pestered Jack Brennan for info on the WSB operation in Dalmatia. Brennan assumed everything was going smoothly and later got a text in code from Vaughn to confirm it. Meanwhile, Liesl Obrecht bickered with Carly Spencer before calling Anna over, hoping to gain an ally. Anna convinced Liesl to stand down and accept the penthouse at the Cosmo. Back with Brennan, he met with Colette following her assignment in Peru. Colette was alarmed over Jocelyn being placed on the mission at the Five Poppies Resort, since she was too new and inexperienced. Brennan insisted it was fine, and made it clear that he was calling the shots on this, not Colette. At the resort, Pascal caught Jocelyn gaping at Vaughn and Britt in the distance. Although Pascal thought it seemed like Jocelyn had seen a ghost, Joss insisted that woman was getting too handsy with her husband. Pascal said he'd take care of it, so he shut down Britt's flirting by claiming it was time for her massage. Britt got into an argument with Pascal and tried to complain to the boss in the lab, but she later learned he'd left the premises. Back in Jocelyn and Vaughn's room, she revealed that she knew Britt, who was supposed to be dead. Vaughn heard the story of Britt saving Jocelyn from a serial killer, but Joss couldn't be certain of what happened after that. Jocelyn also warned that if Britt saw her, then it'd blow her cover and derail the mission. After doing some digging online, Vaughn saw that Britt had prior lab experience and thought she could be the key to scoring the truth behind Professor Henry Hank Dalton's project. Back with Pascal, he took a phone call from Colette, who spoke in French, and informed him that a couple of WSB agents had infiltrated. Colette revealed that they were going by the names Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Nash. At the pool again, James West chatted with Jens Sidwell and let it slip that his mom, Maxie Jones, wanted to talk to Max Scorpio about something important. Sidwell seemed concerned about Maxie turning over the Sonny Corinthos evidence, despite agreeing not to. Next, Maxie griped to Brooklyn since if things blew up at Deception, she didn't have a trust fund to fall back on and had 3 kids to care for. Marco met up with Sidwell to warn him to move ahead with his Sonny bribery leverage, since Willow was becoming more unstable. Michael Corinthos would be guaranteed to keep custody if Sidwell waited too long, so he needed to use his Sonny leverage while he still had it. At the Quartermain mansion, Harrison Chase refused to arrest Danny Morgan for kidnapping and would only give him a warning instead. Both Chase and Jason Morgan gave Danny a lecture in the living room while Alexis argued with Drew in the foyer. Drew made it clear that Sam McCall was gone, so he got to decide everything as Scout's only living parent. Drew didn't want Scout around people who undermined him like Alexis, so he refused to let Alexis, Danny, and the rest of her family have contact with Scout. Alexis was in tears as Drew ultimately stormed out the door. General Hospital spoilers say Alexis will try to fight this, but you can bet Drew will fight back. Or Charles The fragile peace within the Quartermain family shattered this week, igniting a bitter conflict centered on young Scout Kane. The drama erupted when a frantic Drew Kane received a call that his daughter was missing from her foster home. His reaction was swift and shocking. He immediately contacted the authorities to arrest his own son, Danny Morgan, accusing him of kidnapping. The accusation sent shockwaves through the family, revealing deep-seated issues of neglect and fracturing the very foundation of their household. Jason Morgan and Alexis Davis, longtime pillars of the family, were left appalled by Drew's impulsive actions. For them, it laid bare a painful truth they had long recognized. Drew, despite being Scout's biological father, had become emotionally absent in her life. Since the tragic death of Scout's mother, Sam, Drew has been increasingly preoccupied with his relationship with Willow Tate, leaving Scout to navigate her grief alone. While Drew provided a roof over her head, he failed to offer the emotional stability and attention she desperately needed, a void that her protective older brother, Danny, could no longer ignore. Alexis, in particular, refused to stand by. Drawing on her own history with complex family dynamics, she confronted Drew with fiery intensity. She accused him of being blind to his daughter's suffering and warned that his neglect was the true cause of the crisis. To Alexis, Danny wasn't a kidnapper. He was a rescuer, acting out of love for a sister who felt abandoned by her own father. Her words highlighted the core issue. Scout's well-being was being sacrificed for Drew's personal pursuits. However, Danny's bold move was not just an emotional impulse. It was a calculated action backed by a powerful secret left by his mother. Foreseeing a day when Drew's emotional distance might harm Scout, Sam had prepared a legal document. This will granted Danny the authority to take custody of his sister if Drew ever failed to fulfill his parental duties. This bombshell was Danny's trump card, giving him the legal and moral high ground in the inevitable confrontation with Drew. Armed with Sam's final wish and the unwavering support of Jason and Alexis, Danny stood firm against Drew's legal threats and furious accusations. Outmaneuvered and emotionally cornered by a united family, Drew was forced to confront the devastating truth of his own failings. In a painful surrender, he relinquished his legal control, allowing Danny to become Scout's primary caregiver. It was a heart-wrenching decision, marking a pivotal moment where he acknowledged that sometimes love isn't enough. The battle was won not by anger, but by the fierce, protective love of a brother determined to give his sister the home she truly deserved. General Hospital, spoilers for August 18, 2025. See Alexis Davis raging and Curtis Ashford shaken. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we're going to start with what's coming for the rest of this week. Then, we'll dive into what's ahead next week. So, let's get into it. We've got Rocco Falsaroni talking to and reassuring Gio Palmieri. This may be something minor, like about the dog, because Lulu Spencer has agreed that Outback can come home with them. Of course, she is trying to get Rocco's mind off Liesl Obrecht. Taking the puppy that Lulu can't take isn't a bad move. That's one of the least objectionable moves Lulu's made recently. But then again, Rocco could be talking to Gio about Dante Falconeri and giving their dad a chance. Carly Corinthos Spencer tells Obrecht that if she tells Rocco that Lulu had her kick Obrecht out of the hotel, she won't just hurt Lulu, she'll hurt Rocco too. But in the end, Carly may relent and let Obrecht stay. It was very transparent what was being done, and Carly can't really trust that Liesl will not tell Rocco the truth. Brennan gets an earful from Pascal over in Croatia. Britt Westbourne snaps back at him, saying they both know he's not the one in charge. That's true, but Pascal is reporting to the one who is in charge. Jocelyn Jacks tells Vaughn that the chick he was flirting with, Britt, is supposed to be dead. Vaughn is going to learn from Joss all about the attempt on her life, the hook killing, and how Britt sacrificed herself. She supposedly died, but there she is, alive and well in Croatia. That's very suspicious. I wonder if they're going to report that back to Brennan. Anna Devane tells Brennan to start talking. She wants some answers. She's very worried about Jocelyn and the Dalton mission. She wants to know that Joss is going to be okay. Brennan tells Anna that he'd know if something was going wrong, but Anna isn't sure about that. I also wonder if she's going to tell Jack about Britt being at the same resort. Faison's daughter is supposed to be dead, and her being there can't be a coincidence, right? Drew Kane Quartermain announces something stunning. I wonder if he is reiterating that he wants to press charges against Danny Morgan for kidnapping Scout Kane. That is not going to go over very well. Harrison Chase doesn't want to do it. Alexis yells at Drew to cut the crap and stop this nonsense about having Danny arrested. Alexis is having a fit because Drew is pressing Detective Chase to go ahead and put Danny in handcuffs. Of course, the kid is scared. Sonny'S. The kid is. Realistically, Scout is not going to like that. Maybe that's the way they can leverage him. It looks like they try to talk Drew out of it and succeed. Jason Morgan then warns Drew, saying, "Don't ever try to do that through me." So, it sounds like in the end, between Chase and Alexis, they're going to get Drew to relent on having Danny arrested. Hopefully. But this whole situation is only going to get worse. Elizabeth Weber gets an update from Willow Tate. I wonder if she's going to tell her that she really screwed up and slapped one of the doctors at work. Now, that was nothing to do with work, so hopefully Lucas Jones won't report her. I also wonder if Willow is going to mention that Scout went missing and Drew freaked out. There's actually a whole bunch to catch Liz up on. Michael Corinthos encourages Gio. This may be about just talking to Brooklyn Quartermain and Dante. Michael may say, "You can't stay mad forever." Michael's actually a good person to talk to because he has a confusing backstory with his parents. Carly told some lies about his parentage, then his stepdad murdered his real dad. It's much more complicated than Gio's situation, if you think about it. Meanwhile, Dante and BLQ try to come up with a strategy. It may be about how to break through this wall and get Gio to at least talk to them. Chase catches up with Willow. I wonder if he's going to tell her about his talk with Michael. He is definitely on Team Willow in this. I wonder if he's going to say that Drew was pressing him to arrest Danny. She will be stunned about that. Molly Lansing Davis tries to reason with Drew. This whole situation with Danny and Scout may have Drew doubling down on, "Look, I'm just going to take my daughter and leave town." Molly doesn't want Alexis to try for a custody suit. They need to bring the temperature down. Maybe Molly can be the voice of reason. Stella Henry pushes Kay to try and get Trina Robinson back. Stella doesn't want them to give up on each other. She thinks they're a great couple. We wrap up the week with Michael being manipulated by Drew. I wonder if Drew will circle back around and offer some kind of deal. Maybe Scout can come over more if Drew relents and lets Willow see the kids. Some kind of emotional quarter remain blackmail on General Hospital. Jason is in Croatia, looking sharp in a suit instead of his usual mobster black. He has a dicey interaction with Pascal. He is obviously looking for Britt and also looking for Jocelyn. Speaking of Miss Jax, she is quite frustrated. I wonder if they will report back to Jack. She and Vaughn are told she has to avoid Britt. If she sees Jocelyn, that will blow their cover because everyone knows she's not Mrs. Nash, as she's calling herself. Jason is in Croatia on a mission. He obviously wants to talk to Britt alone. Maybe he also wants to find Joss and have a word with her as well. Curtis is all shaken up by the end of the week. Maybe he's going to find out that Aunt Stella is being investigated for insurance fraud. Felicia Scorpio counsels Dr. Isaiah Gannon. He may talk to her about what he saw with Curtis and Jordan Ashford. Isaiah kind of seems to have a little thing for Portia Robinson. He may not like the way Jordan is behaving. I think Felicia might tell him to mind his own business, but we'll see. This week, it looks like DA Justine Turner stops by Sonny Corinthos' house. They are looking friendly. Drew keeps on scheming. He's having Stella investigated to hurt Curtis. He's trying to take Michael down so that Willow can get her kids back. Now, he's trying to keep Scout away from the Qs and Alexis. He's battling Alexis in another front. Drew has way too many irons in the fire. Gen Z Sidwell is looking for the right moment to reveal that Sonny bribed the judge, or at least that's what it looks like. The goal is to give Michael sole custody. Stella may be in serious trouble. She is at risk of losing her job as a patient advocate, thanks to Drew shining a light on some of her finagling of insurance documents. I mean, I think we'd all like to have a Stella in our lives, finagling insurance for us. Curtis is going to be outraged. He may figure out pretty quickly that Drew is behind it. Britt may defy orders again and wind up in trouble. Willow is not going to give up. Jason and Britt have a reunion. It has to be out of sight of Pascal. Cody Bell is plagued by second thoughts over payday versus self-respect after what Tracy Quartermain said. Christina Corinthos Davis's reckoning is on the way. It's been a long while since Kimberly McCulloch has been back on General Hospital in a front-burner capacity, but having grown up on the ABC soap, she has plenty of storylines to look back on. And given that Robin had been a popular character in Port Charles, it's no wonder the actress still has numerous fans, ones that still recognize her and stop her on the street. McCulloch posted a photo of Robin and Jason over the weekend and shared a fan appreciation note. She went on to explain, "Today, an enthusiastic, sweet GH fan recognized me on the street. It's been a while, so at first I didn't know she was talking to me." The fan thanked the actress for all that she'd put out in the world through Robin, and McCulloch expressed how it was one of the nicest compliments she'd ever received. "Made me miss my GH family a whole lot." She also told her that Robin and Jason were her fave, which led the star to give her former castmate a shout-out. "I miss you, Steve Burton. It's funny, so many years later, how I can look at a photo of us when we were babies, and my nostalgic heart is instantly filled with fun memories." McCulloch then sent a final message filled with gratitude and stated, "Thank you, Bridget, for being a fan, and thank you for saying something. It made my day." From playing the beloved and sorely missed Nathan West on General Hospital to becoming a fan-favorite Hallmark star, Ryan Pavey has built a career on charisma and versatility. He's got a dedicated connection with his followers, and over the years has moved seamlessly between daytime dramas and personal projects that have solidified his connection with them. Now, after a recent public appearance, he reflected on the experience and teased what's to come in a social media post that has his fans abuzz. Former General Hospital star Ryan Pavey recently attended the Decade Days meet and greet in Dahlonega, Georgia, which is a fan convention celebrating various decades and genres that spotlights movies and TV shows. It has celebrity meet and greets, as well as photo ops with them, and other activities like live podcasts and parties. The event is specifically themed around Christmas in a Small Town, featuring actors from Christmas rom-coms, so Pavey was right at home there. He wrote about it on Instagram. Back home after an awesome weekend in Dahlonega, GA. Huge thanks to everyone who came out. Along with that was a video in which he explained that the event was super rad. He then continued with, "Thank you to them for having me, and thank you to you guys for showing up and hanging out. It's been a long time. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up for the Ghost of Christmas Past here, but they did, and I'm appreciative of it." What made the event even more special for him were the puppies that also attended. He then noted that he even got to share the stage with Mr. Chad Michael Murray for a little bit, who I believe has a film coming out, Freakier Friday. It's got Lindsay Lohan in it. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. You guys should check it out. Pavey continued by thanking his fans again, showing his appreciation, and then announced, "I got some news to share with you guys soon. I've got some irons in the fire. I got all kinds of fun stuff coming up, so stick around and yeah, I hope to see you guys at another, and I'll share some news with you as soon as I can." The fans were thrilled at his post, and many praised him as @Stacey'd Carmela. Green responded, "We definitely miss you acting. You are incredible in every role. However, getting to see you in your personal life is my favorite version of you because you are so down to earth." Many fans wished they got to meet him in person, and several said they couldn't wait to see his next Hallmark film. The General Hospital alum is clearly beloved by the fans, as @Aniel3umfeet remarked, "It was an awesome weekend, and so glad I got to meet you. The lines to meet you never stopped." General Hospital spoilers reveal that fans are asking if Drew Kane just proved he's an imposter. Social media users are speaking out and insisting the real thing would never cross the line Drew just crossed. So let's talk about his latest move. In the August 12th episode, Danny Morgan took Scout Quartermain from camp and brought her to the Quartermain mansion for some sibling bonding. Scout misses living with Danny and Rocco Falconeri, but Drew never keeps his promises to let her stop by the house and hang out. It's a real treat for Scout to check out the stables and see Monica Quartermain too, but Drew doesn't care about any of that and just leaves her with a nanny all the time. That's why Scout was so desperate for this Quartermain estate visit, which led to Drew blowing his top and ordering Harrison Chase to arrest Danny for kidnapping. Drew has been sinking lower and lower lately, but this is the last straw as far as some viewers are concerned. The old Drew would never have been cold enough to have Danny arrested for wanting to spending time with his little sister. That's especially true since Danny and Scout have been forced to endure the heartache of Sam McCall's demise. GH fans can't forget that, due to all the memory mapping drama, Drew once believed he was Jason Morgan and thought he was Danny's father. Drew and Danny had a special bond that's been completely erased. Now Drew's been trying to have his teenage nephew locked up, so this is just appalling behavior all around. Although Drew's done some pretty terrible things, he's gone totally off the rails at this point. This Drew feels absolutely nothing like the Drew that Billy Miller once played. So many viewers are convinced there's some sort of imposter situation going on. Is there a chance that Drew isn't really Drew? Could Drew be a clone, a mask-wearing villain like Shiloh Archer, or at least be brainwashed? Regardless, Drew hasn't been acting like himself for quite some time, but this Danny arrest mess is perhaps the biggest piece of imposter evidence yet. General Hospital spoilers say Drew will make some other shady moves and cause bad news for plenty of key players on Canvas, so stay tuned for updates on all the chaos. As Curtis tries to romance Portia, Chase confides in Willow, and Sonny makes himself vulnerable to his enemies. The next General Hospital spoilers video for Thursday, August 14th, 2025, shows Sonny dropping his guard for Laura, while Dante and Brooklyn strategize, and Willow becomes Chase's confidant. Dante tells Brooklyn, "I want us to do the same thing with Gio." The weekly teasers state that Dante and Brooklyn strategize, so hopefully they'll be able to break through Gio's walls. They'll have to work hard to gain his trust once again. Curtis happily tells Portia, "I have a very important invitation for my wife." It sounds like Curtis is paving the road to reconciliation with romance, but will it work? Meanwhile, Willow says to Chase, "I can't tell you how much it means to hear you say that." The teasers also show that Chase confides in Willow. Perhaps he'll tell her about Drew's plan to move to DC with Scout. Is it possible Willow could be the only one to talk him out of it? Laura asks Sonny, "You're sacrificing your own security for me?" Did he tell his bodyguards to clear out when he's with Laura so she's not accused of being part of his criminal enterprise? If so, while his intentions are good, he's leaving himself vulnerable to his enemies. And Drew says to someone, "The best thing that we can do is to move to DC as soon as possible." Boy, he's in a rush to separate Scout from her family. He's really become a bad guy and should turn in his hero card as soon as possible. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!